Another week, another weekly reset. This is the weekly reset where we go over Nightwave, Teshin, all that jazz. There will be time codes in the description below. And without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? Let's begin with Nightwave, shall we? I meant description if I said comment section below. If I said description below, then that's what I meant. But if I said comment, I meant description as far as the time codes are concerned. But anyway, complete 3 Void Blood missions. Kill 100 enemies with headshots. Complete a defense mission reaching at least wave 12. Now this is any defense mission, okay? So it could be the hardest one, it could be the easiest one. The game does not care. So if you want to get it done super quickly but boringly, I guess do the easiest one. If you want to get it done and you want to challenge yourself for personal reasons, I guess do the hardest one. But realistically, you probably just want to do defenses that you normally do anyway, so you don't have to worry too much about it. And then we have complete 8 zones of Sanctuary Onslaught, just Elite Sanctuary Onslaught, I should point out. Not just regular Sanctuary Onslaught, because the two SO, there's an ESO and an SO. So yeah. And yeah. I was going to make a joke about SO not standing for Superior Officer. It stands for Sanctuary Onslaught, and ESO not standing for something. What does ESO stand for in the other thing? I don't know. ESO. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Then we have the kill 30 XMSs, XMSs, and then we have complete 15 missions and kill 500 enemies. So obviously you can coincide this with this. Now this, I'm terrible at headshots, but luckily I'm Nightwave complete. I'll probably make a video covering this, maybe tomorrow or something. But Nightwave does end in a little over 2 days, so definitely keep that in mind. There will be another Nightwave, don't worry, but you might want to spend all of your credits, just an FYI. And speaking of spending credits, let's see what they are offering this week, shall we? Okay, I like hovering over these so you guys actually can get an idea of what they are. Corrosive Projection used to be a fan favorite. Now I don't think people per se care about Corrosive Projection. It's more what use whatever you want, we don't care type thing. But used to be people in public cared that you used like Corrosive Projection or something that could help the whole team. But like I said, now I don't think they really care all that much, if I'm being perfectly honest. And then we have alternate helmets, alternate skins, and I guess sigils somewhere in the mix. And then we have the miscellaneous options, which include the Wolf Beacon. The Wolf actually drops a sledgehammer, okay, as well as the parts you need to make said sledgehammer. So, yeah. The Wolf's sledgehammer, you could argue, is at least as rare as the Stalker's weapons. It's very weird though, because the Stalker had more of a pool of weapons, but see, the Wolf of Saturn 6, that's his full name, he actually had the blueprint for the sledgehammer. Then you also need to farm the parts for said blueprint from him specifically. So that makes him really, if you look at the very least 3 times, if you get very lucky. So keep that in mind. And then we also have here, they separated it into 2 sections in the most recent update, miscellaneous and decorations. I don't know why the sensor doesn't get put in the decoration section, because it's clearly a decoration, but maybe it only counts actual stuff that you can place. The sensors are more of a, they're wallpaper, essentially. The wallpaper for one specific area. Actually, what do you guys think about the idea of wallpaper in Warframe? I think wallpaper that we could put up in whatever area we wanted, I think that would be pretty cool, right? It would be definitely a vibe. Wallpaper. I mean, it just makes it a lot easier, because I feel like a lot of people customize their stuff anyway to have like special tiles and stuff on it. So just imagine if we could just have wallpaper from the get-go. We could just change the, like, void shells, but for walls. Yeah. I sound like a lunatic now, I'm sure, so I'm just going to move on. And move on I shall, in the form of seeing what a good buddy, good pal Teshin has to offer. Actually, low-key, the way you saw me teleport to Teshin, don't tell a certain someone that you guys don't know that I used that method, because I literally had a whole debate about them with them about my whole going to the menu fast travel system being faster, and it turns out that way it's faster, so don't tell them. And you, if you're watching, you know who you are, and look away. Look away for the next 30 seconds or so, just because. Okay, Steel Path, or rather the Steel Path honors. Basically, you get Steel Essence, and then I haven't been farming much Steel Essence because I've been busy farming Tater Tots. That may not make a lot of sense unless you know that that's what I call them, and you know there's an event going on, and you know I stream, and you know I play Warframe, and at least one of those things you know by watching this video. So, yeah. Anyway, 55 Steel Essence for 50,000 Kuba, which normally I would say it's okay, but I don't think it's okay anymore, because we have lots of ways to get Kuba these days. So, I mean, 50,000 Kuba seems, it just, I don't know, it just doesn't, for 55 Steel Essence, it's just not clicking in my head as a good deal anymore. Teshin, do better. You know what might do better? The circuit. The circuit lets us choose between Gruder, Baruch, and Children. I'm picking Gruder because I feel like it. So, yeah. I mean, Gruder is actually the reason we even have invincibility frames, why we are casting like 4s and stuff, because basically Gruder walked so we could run, and then eventually she learned to run herself. But yeah. And then we move over to the Steel Path version, and if you have all of these Incarnon adapters, like I do, 2 things. Good news, first of all, when we get the next update in Warframe, there will be 5 new Incarnon adapters. And the second thing, you can come over here and choose Cuba and something else. Really, you can choose 2 mods if you want. I just tend to choose these 2 because you never know when you'll be running these missions, okay? You never know. You never, ever, ever know. Archon Hunt. This is the Archon. This is the Archon Shard. This is the chant that will be a Talford version of the Archon Shard, which the Talford version is actually a bit better than the normal variant, but you will get the normal variant guaranteed if you complete all 3 parts of the Archon Hunt with this week mobile defense, interception, and showdown. Showdown is basically an assassination without the title, and the game may or may not give you the credit for an assassination as well. Descendia is your basic climb the tower type thing. Yes, there are bunches of these mini, I wouldn't call them mini games at this point in Warframe, because I mean, some games do devote the whole game to climbing towers, but we are going lower tower by tower, and we get rewards as I'm hovering over the 21 floors in all. You'll have a whole week to descend to the lowest floor, Descendia, yeah? But don't worry, every 7 floors there is a checkpoint. So if you don't feel like doing them all in one go, you don't have to. But you do, however, have the option to do Still Path. Yes, Still Path version of this, which has its own reward pool, as you can see. Same, every 7 things a checkpoint, but I don't believe you'll get a checkpoint on Still Path mode if you checkpoint on normal mode. I don't think those actually, go together with each other or anything like that. Also, fun fact, I would like to point out that both normal mode and Still Path mode have self-res restricted. So you can't self-res, you can only be res by other Tenno. So keep that in mind. The Sanctum is where we go to visit Bird 3. And we visit Bird 3 because Bird 3 had shiny treasures, such as an Archon Shard, which, fun fact, is not always the same color as the Archon Hunt Archon Shard. It just happens to be, it rotates in color each week. And in order to get this from Bird 3, you will need to buy it for 30,000 standing, and you gotta be max rank. But wait, there's more. If that doesn't tickle your fancy, you can always come over to Lloyd, or rather Necroloid. Actually, even if that does tickle your fancy, you can still come over to Necroloid. He doesn't judge. These are individual parameters. Well, not to your face anyway, probably. And then these you can actually select for a bonus challenge, if you will. Greater the risk, higher the reward, and all that jazz. That's what Deep Archimedea is all about. But, it's not the only Archimedea that exists. No, if you travel to a universe where it's 1999 all day, every day, and talk to Kaya, Kaya will introduce you to the wonderful world of Temporal Archimedea, which has the same landscape layout, individual parameters and extra challenges that yield you better rewards. The only two differences are one, 1999 focused mission, and two, this had a sticker system. Yeah, so definitely keep those things in mind. But yeah, feel free to let me know. Do you guys do Deep Archimedea or Temporal Archimedea or any Archimedea? Both? Neither? One or the other? I'd like to know your thoughts, or if you do them rather. And with that said, I will catch you guys in the future. Later.